Good afternoon, everyone. Our program is about to start. If you'd like to kind of give attention to our screen, we'd like to welcome everyone here to the series that we have on aging in place. Today, our speaker is going to be Dave Beddoes. He's a certified aging in place specialist, and he's going to he'll give you a little bit more information about himself, but he's going to talk about grab bars. That's one of the things that we like to encourage as you get older. So let me give your attention now to Mr. Beddoes.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here today. I'm Dave Beddoes. I have a company called San Diego Grab Bars, and we specialize in, I call it things to hang on to. We do handrails and we do grab bars. And when we come out to your house, we have everything with us and we put them in that day. So a little bit about me. I was finished with the corporate world when I was about 62, and I needed something to do. I had no idea what to do with my time. My wife had been a firefighter. She was in her 20th year then, and she said, "Why don't you put in grab bars? Half of our calls are picking people up off the floor." So I said, well, it doesn't seem like you could really make a living doing that, but I need something to get out of the house. So I started this company out of the back of my trunk of my car and started putting in grab bars. We've now put in over 13,000 grab bars and several hundred handrails. The company's been going about 14 years now. My son is in the company with me. I live up in this area, and he does the installations down in San Diego along with another fellow. I'm going to share some things. Everything I share with you today, I've learned since I retired. And so a little bit about grab bars and the ADA. There's some confusion about ADA regulations. They don't apply to your house. They only apply to businesses. So as we go through this, you may be conscious of some ADA regulations, but they don't apply to you in your home. They're great guidelines. Okay, so the first issue is you've got to get in and out of your house. And this is pretty common how houses are built. And you may have a house that you've been living in for 30 years, no handrails. And now, all of a sudden, it's an issue. You need something to hold on to. So, it may be something as simple as just a grab bar, okay? Or you may get something a little more ornamental, railings that go better with your architecture, but you need something. When you put in a handrail, you want to make sure that it extends past that bottom step. When you're on that bottom step, you still need something out in front of you to hang on to as you're going down, and the same going up there. And if possible, you want to have it on both sides. A lot of us, as we get older, we're going to have a weak side. So what works in one direction may not work in the other because we have a weak side. The other thing is, mark the edge of those steps. When it's all concrete or it's all the same finish, it's easy to miss the edge of the step. Okay, but you also come in through the garage. A lot of us probably come in that way more than any other. You could have something as simple as a grab bar, or this item over here is called Hold Tight. It comes in two lengths. One's long enough for one step, one's long enough for two steps. But it's a nice, clean finish for the garage. So when you're thinking about the garage, a couple of things. This one on the left here extends out, which is the way you like it. But you may have a car that you want to actually fit in the garage, so you're going to have it end right here as close to the stairs as possible so you can fit that car into the garage. You're going out the back patio. You need a little something. This one on the right, on the left rather, is called speed rail. It's just a bunch of components you can buy and put together. The one on the right is custom. Go out the back door, you need something out the side door. So think about all the areas in your house where you go in and out. And then don't forget your yard. You know, we live in California for a reason. A lot of us love to garden, but let's make sure the yard is accessible. And if you have a pool, of course you're going to want to use that. Okay, there's some other options for getting in and out of the house. Ramps. Nobody likes the looks of them, so what might we do otherwise? One solution is the platform steps, and people with walkers really like these because you can get up each step with your walker, take a break, and then do the next one. The other option is to actually contour your landscape. Looks much better than a ramp to me. If you do a ramp, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. One, for every inch you go up, you need to go out a foot. So say you have 3 steps. That's about 20 inches. So that means that ramp is going to go out 20 feet into your yard in order to be usable. And if you go more than 6 inches, you need a railing on the side of it. And also, you should put curbs on the side. So this has a little rim along the side. This has a barrier. This is a little dangerous when you start getting that high. Indoors. These are called threshold ramps. And they're especially useful for people who are in wheelchairs, or you're just trying to get over that little bump. You don't really notice these bumps until you start using something like a wheelchair. So these you can buy online. They're good up to about 4 inches, and you might notice this one down here is adjustable. Okay, let's go indoors. I don't know if you can notice, but there's a step right here. And this little split level setup was pretty popular during the 70s and the 80s. So this is deadly. Here's the solution. You have contrasting surfaces on the different levels, and you put a handrail in so you don't accidentally step over, or one of your guests come in who's not used to that step being there, and they step over and go down. Okay, we're going to go into handrails a little bit. First, you really want them on both sides. Most houses are built with the handrails on one side just because it's cheaper to build that way. But as we age, we find that both sides is much more useful. There's a concept called graspability, which means you can get your hand around it so you can get a grip on it. A lot of the older houses use these 2x6s or these 2x4s. So you see with the one with the 2x4, we're adding a smaller rail that you can grab. And the middle diagram, you can see how it's indented. so that you can grab that. A lot of people will have me come into a house that has these old 2x6 rails and say, I want to match it. As a licensed contractor, I can't do it. It was in code when they built the house. It no longer conforms to code. You'd like the rail to be continuous. So as you go down and turn corners, if you can keep your hand on that rail, it really helps. And then there's a feature called returns, which is a little piece that goes back to the wall. Why? So you don't catch your bathrobe sleeve in there, so you don't catch your pocketbook in there, so you don't catch some kind of bag that you're carrying. So you want to have a return on your rail wherever you put it. Here's an area we put rails in the kitchen. You can see them right under the counter, under the cupboards there. This woman was in a wheelchair, but she loved to cook. So we put these all around her kitchen so she could roll in, stand up, and still have something to hang on to. Down the hallways, a lot of people as they get older can become disoriented as they go down the hallway, and these really help. The other time they help is you'd be amazed how many people with walkers don't use them in their home. So this gives something to support for those who don't like to use their walkers. And then the other picture is just split level. There's a lot of split level houses, but we may need something now to hang on to. Okay, some other solutions in the front room. This is a floor to ceiling bar. And we use these out in the middle of the room when there's no wall to anchor into. That handle pivots 360 degrees and it locks every 45. And then also next to the bed, there's a little help getting out of the bed there. Okay, let's go on to the bathroom. So there's two primary areas we're concerned in the bathroom. One is the toilet area, and the other is the area we bathe. But first, anybody have a towel rack that looks like this at their house? We use whatever is there. If it's not made to support us, it doesn't matter. We're still going to use it. And I've seen countless towel racks end up looking just like this. This is the answer. These are grab bars. And underneath is where you put the towel. And the question is, why? And the reason is, if you grab that towel, it can roll on that bar, and that'll throw you off. But this is a bar that will hold 250 pounds, and you're not going to bend it. There's other solutions that don't look like grab bars that people use. The one on the left, both of these will hold all your weight. I tell people when we install these things, you can pick your feet up off the floor and they're going to hold you. They don't look like grab bars, but if you're going to use that toilet paper holder to help you get up off the toilet, you want something solid. Okay, in the toilet area, we have two kinds of people. We have pushers and we have pullers. And I'll tell you the difference. A puller is somebody who just needs a little bit out in front of themselves to just kind of get going to get up off the toilet. And usually this is, this one is on the wall in front of the toilet. This one's beside the toilet. So an important thing about these is from your trunk back, it doesn't do any good. So make sure that bar starts at your trunk and goes forward. Some people like a diagonal, and then there's curved bars too that you can use for this. Now a pusher is somebody who's a little more advanced and they need support both to lower themselves onto the commode and to push themselves up. So we need support on both sides. And I got to tell you, if you have a vanity on one side, great, use it. They're solid. So there's a couple of things here. We have swing down bars. One's in the wall, and this one here is on a pedestal. People always ask me about swing down bars. We only put them in if it's a remodel. And the reason is that has to be into solid wood. If you can imagine the amount of pressure out at the end of that bar when you're pushing your full weight on it. A grab bar we can put into the wall with hardware and it'll hold because it's so close to the wall. But these have to be into solid wood because they have a lot of leverage on them. Another solution, you go from the wall to the floor. Again, you need blocking in that wall. You need a solid floor. I don't know if you know what a post-tension slab is, but they run cables through the slab when they pour it, so they don't have to use as much concrete. You don't want to drill into that. And then the outrigger at the bottom, make sure that's, a lot of those move, position that so you're not going to trip over it. Okay, suppose you have no walls. Again, we're back to the standard pole here. You see this glass enclosure, you can't put anything into that. And then this one on the right, the advantage rail, just mounts straight into the floor. Tubs and showers. As you notice here, they have similar solutions. They both have a bar where you're getting in, and they have a bar on the long wall. These are typical tubs. You'll see the vertical bar is positioned right over the edge of the tub. You're getting up on 1 foot to climb into that tub. You want something to hold on to. And then the horizontal bar is about 36 inches off the bottom of the tub, which is right about your waist. A lot of people ask me about the length. So that vertical bar is usually 18 inches. You want it between your waist and your shoulder, because that's where your arm naturally goes out. And that horizontal bar, some people want 36. We tell most people 24 inches is plenty long. You're not going to stand up all the way at one end or the other of the tub. And most people don't like to look at these anyway. Okay, if you're going to be using a chair, there's a couple of things. One, we get rid of the doors, especially if somebody's going to help you bathe on that chair. Those sliding glass doors, they're nothing but an obstacle. And then we put in a shower curtain rod, and you have easy access. The other thing that people haven't seen, it's called a docking station. It's a little attachment you put on the wall. You can put it anywhere you want on the wall, and that wand sits in that docking station. So a lot of times I'll have people sit in their chair and say, okay, what feels convenient? Tell me where you're going to want this, so that you don't have to put it all the way back up every time. So showers, we're doing the vertical bar because we're stepping over the dam. And then, of course, the configuration is the same. Okay, the other question I get is diagonal or horizontal? If you're in a chair, that diagonal bar is great. We encourage horizontal for people who are standing in the shower, just because when you turn, it seems to work really well one way with the diagonal, but when you turn around, the grip seems kind of odd. So the horizontal bar seems to be a lot more comfortable for people who are standing, where the diagonal bar works well for people in chairs. And this one here, there's an interesting little grab bar down here. It's one I never thought of. Woman wanted something to put her foot on while she shaved her legs. And then a lot of showers have this slide bar in them. Most of those slide bars aren't going to hold anything. They're plastic. You can use a slide bar, a grab bar for a slide bar with this little attachment here that'll go up and down that bar, will attach with that lever, and you can put the handheld in there. I'm not giving up my tub. I hear this a lot. I want to be able to soak. I hate to tell you, but it's going to get harder and harder and harder to get in and out of that tub. As we get older, we lose upper body strength. The solution is, on the wall, we put 2 bars. One is low, one's high. The low bar is the grab to get up, but it's too low to hold on to when you're standing. So we put another bar in higher, so when you're standing, you can actually reach it. And then this little lift over here is powered. It will lower you into the bath. It'll lift you up out of the bath. It's going to get real hard to climb out of that thing after a while. The other thing we do is we mount bars into the deck. So if you have a jacuzzi tub, we have to be a little leery, but we'll put bars into the deck there to help get out. These are some more solutions. The low bar next to the tub, and then the deck bar again here. Again, usually these bars are just to get up, and then usually people will sit on the side of the tub and swing their feet over and get up that way. Another solution is called a tub cut. This is great if you don't want to spend a lot of money. This little door here comes out, so you can step in, you can take a shower and leave it like that, or you can put it back in and fill the tub. Couple of advantages: they come in and do this in about a day. So, and you're not paying to remodel the whole bathroom. If they tear out your tub, you're into a whole bathroom remodel. This is a solution that this costs, I think, about around $1,200. But, and then here on the bottom, there's companies called Clean Cut, Tub Cut, Bath Cutter, Kohler, they all do this. Shower seats. The way I talked about a swing down grab bar, the same applies to shower seats. Sitting out at the end of that seat, you have a lot of leverage. Again, we usually do them only in a remodel. People say, well, my studs are every 16 inches. Well, maybe they are, but you can see these shower seats between the 16 inches need some more support. So unless we know there's wood in the wall, we're not going to put a shower seat. You can get something freestanding. The other thing available are seats, and this item over here is called a transfer bench. So instead of climbing over the side of the tub, you sit down on that seat and you just slide across. And then you can adjust these legs up and down, and the things will swivel and move. All the time we hear, I hate grab bars, they look so institutional. There's enough demand now among us seniors that the corporations are producing things that don't look so bad. This is just for toilet paper holders. All of these are grab bars, but you can see people are using their imagination to come up with more solutions. Here's an idea. You can get different colors, different styles, different finishes. So if what's holding you back is you hate the look, there's other things available. They're a little more expensive, but they're available. So thank you. That's what we have today. I do not work in this area. However, this is my son and I. If you want somebody to do some of these things for you, there is a fellow named Bill Essert that works in this area, and he'd be glad to come by and take care of you. Are there any questions? Yes, you're asking about the cost of those tub cuts where you just cut the side of the tub away. Yes, that's about $1,200 is what normally is charged for that. which is a whole lot less than ripping the tub out and retiling the wall. And it's a one-day thing. And no matter what that contractor told you about ripping your bathroom out, it's going to take more than a day. What if you have a claw tub? Why? There's not much we can do. What we usually do with a claw tub is we'll use one of those standard poles as long as your ceiling's not more than 10 feet tall. But you're out in the middle of the room, there's no walls, and you can't cut it. So we're kind of restricted to just the standard pole for the claw tubs. The name of the local guy is Bay Grab Bars. There he is. His name is Bill Essert. He does Marin, Sonoma, all these counties up here in the North Bay. I'll leave it up there. All right. If there's no more questions, enjoy your lunch.